I'm T-Junkie and welcome back to part 31, yeah. In this part what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating, before we start the shooting, which will be tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to create an object. This is for the character to shoot, so we know if the actual shooting is working, to be fair. Now this is going to also have the object health, so lovely plane flying overhead right now. So what we're going to do is, on multiple planes, sorry about that. So what we're going to do is create like a cube or something, give it a nice greeny texture, and then we're going to create a script, and the script is going to be the object health. Now we'll be able to attach a script to anything we want the character to be able to interact with their weapons, so like shoot them. So the buttons, enemies, blocks, you know, if it's anything that anything you want the player to be able to shoot to do something, well, you can attach your script to. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create just create an empty game object. Okay, now I'm going to snap it. Just something quite simple, really. Just something I want to shoot. Now, if I have models, textures, a green one, there we go. There we go, nice green texture. Now, it's also important, any object you create, you need either a collider on it. So a box, mesh, cylinder, sphere, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a collider on the object you want to shoot, that way everything can be triggered and actually do something. Now we've got that rather simple box in, what we're going to do is we're going to create a script. So if we go to our scripts folder, we'll create another one, and I'm just going to say this is object health. Now I'm just going to drag that script on top of the cube. There we go, got object health on there. Didn't know why I didn't do it before, but it seemed to work after I added it. Now I'm going to set this up for multiple variables. So basically, if it's we're going to give it health, we're going to give it armour, we're going to make it so if it's like if you should display the health when you're aiming at it. So if it's like a big old button on the wall, it doesn't have a health, does it? So you just want to shoot it once and it work. We're going to set up a variable for that as well. So to begin with, I will start with doing if the health needs to be rendered on the screen, so I will do it as a public GUI skin, skin, I'll call it game skin, and then we have our GUI skin in here. Underneath we're going to need to do a few things, so I'm going to have a public string, and then I'm going to say enemy name. This is so when we do this, if we decide to display the name or anything like that, we have an enemy name. Then I want to do a private int, and then I'm going to say, actually I'll do on public because you might want to change this. So public int object care health equals, I'm going to set this 100 to begin with, public int object max health equals 100. And then we want to do a public float enemy health bar length. You notice how we did this for the our player health and armor. It's the similar process to do this. Now I want to do a couple of balls actually, so I want to do a private ball underscore show enemy health equals false to begin with, because I don't want the health to be displayed straight away. Private ball. Actually, I should make that as a public. I'm going to say it's false to begin with. So basically, this show enemy health and can be destroyed. If you click it so it's false. Sorry. When you're not aiming at, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up so when you're aiming at the target, it shows the enemy health. When you aim away from the target, it gets rid of the health. That's why this is false. You won't be interacting with this one. This will just keep changing itself. This one on the other hand here is can be destroyed. What we're going to be setting up is, say, if you've got a button on the wall and when you shoot it you don't want it to be destroyed, you've got this, so it won't destroy it. Now we need to create a window as well, so I'm going to do a private enemy health bar ID equals, and I need to check here actually, because this is going to be displaying our HUD as well as what's on here, what's going to be displayed from here. I need to check the player HUD script to make sure that these IDs don't overlap. So I've got number 2 is my last ID. So I'm going to say 3 on this one. Actually, I'll say 11 on this one. That way it's a completely separate ID. I'm never going to use this one again. I'm going to do a private rect, not read only, rect, and enemy bar window rect equals new rect screen dot width, not dot width, there we go, divided by 2 minus, I'm going to be using the same as I used before. Remember that is, you might see in previous tutorials I have a shooter that I was creating. I'm going to be using the same sort of style and height of that to do our enemy health bar. So I'm going to say minus 125. We'll do 10 from the top, 250 wide, and 60 high. Because I know this is a decent size. I want to do a public ball. See, this one I don't actually need to do. Because you can set up balls to say if it's metal, if it's wood, if it's plastic, and you can have different sounds to go along with that. So when you shoot at the object, when you've hit the object, it plays a sound. If it's metal, it makes a ding. If it's wood, it makes a wood sound, you know, like in most games. This, on the other hand, I'll add them in, actually. I'll put them in just in case we want to use them down the line. So I want to do a public ball underscore, sorry, not underscore, is metal equals false. Public ball is wood equals false. Public ball is glass equals false. public ball is plastic. There we go. I was going a bit there. Now what you want to do is you want to do a public audio clip, and then you would say metal sound hit sound, and you can copy this. So we've got 4 here, so we've got wood, glass, plastic. So say wood there, glass there, and plastic here. So you have different sounds for each one. If it's plastic, if it's wood or whatever, you have that sound play when you hit it. Now what I want to do is want to go further down now. Actually, I'm gonna copy this here and into here, and I'm gonna put this stuff here is gonna be armour. See if the enemy has armour. Armour. There we go. So now if the enemy has armour, we can dictate how much armour the enemy has. Void on GUI. Now with this on void GUI, there's a couple of things we can do, which actually, yeah, thinking about it, I think the best possible way would probably be to have the separate windows and everything have their own. Right, every object that's displayed on the screen, we need it to have its own display. So not having them all in the one on GUI function is going to be weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them all separate. Then we're going to call them from inside the on GUI. That way it keeps it neater. So I want for here I want to put GUI dot skin equals game skin. That one there. That way we have the GUI skin in here. Now what I want to do is I was thinking about it, you know. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to set up the health and armor first. So what we're going to do is going to do void. Whoops, sorry, public void. Because I think if you don't declare the public here, it's automatically a private. So you want it as a public. Because we're going to be using the shooting script to call the adjustments to take away the health. So if it's just private, I don't think it will work. So there we go. Adjust current health. Well, I'm going to put enemy in there. Enemy health, because this is all the enemies, so I don't want anything. Because if we have all the scripts open and you want to find in your whole project a call to the enemies, then I want you to be able to find the enemy just by typing enemy. So what I want to do is underscore object health plus equals AD. There we go. Plus equals adjust. Now under here we want to do if object. I wish my fingers and spelling would work. It's less than or equal to 0. we say object current health equals 0. The reason we're not going to bother doing the whole if it's above this certain amount, like 100 or whatever, because the enemies are not going to gain health, so we don't need to do that. They're going to start with the health we set them at. Actually, if you have a spelling mistake, yeah, it's a better idea. If object current health is greater than or equal to object max health, object current health equals object max health. Yeah, just in case you do this, just in case, like in the inspector view in here, if it lets me click the cube, there we go. If we accidentally put 101 in here, it's going to default to 100. So what we're going to do now, alright, there we go. So yeah, now we just need to do this for the, whoops, I think I'm missing something. Yeah, I am, yeah. Now, under here we want to do, I think I called it enemy health bar length, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Equals, I think we have it 250. We have it 250 at the moment is the width, so we want 10 on each side, so it'll be 230. It's 230 times by object current health divided by float. We're going to typecast a float in here. Float object max health. There we go. Now we've got this in here. We can copy this, put in the update function, do a 0 in there, and we're done that one. Now what I want to do is I want to copy this because I don't want to create all this again. Paste that in, and then adjust current enemy armor. There we go. I'm gonna have both of these overlay each other. What I mean by that is, when you knock down some of the armor, you'll see the health behind. You know, like in some of these FPS games, you have mostly MMO games, really. The health bar is behind the armor bar. They're like one and the same. And when the armor gets taken away, you can slowly see the health bar behind. And when the armor's gone, the health then starts going down. We'll be testing all this out when we get the shooting in anyway. So what I'm going to do is, after all, actually I need to copy this one now. I'll put it under here as well. There we go. Now, RPC. Now under here I'm going to do a public void take damage. Int DMG for damage. So we know what so now we're doing this whole taking damage part, which is going to be lovely. Now what I want to do is say if object current armor is less than or equal to 0, we want to do in here else, And what we're going to do in here is if it's less than or equal to 0, we want to start taking away health. So what we're going to do is object health minus equals dmg minus equals damage. And if it's not equal to object armour minus equals dmg for damage. Now under here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of if is metal equals true, doing here. If let's go is wood I don't have it is wood. Oh yeah, it's not an underscore, is it? Is wood. Is equals true. We're going to do in here. If is glass equals true, and if is plastic is equals true. Now in this is metal, what we're going to do is going to say get component. And we're going to say audio source. Audio source. And then we're going to do is dot play one shot. And then we're going to say, because this is metal, we're going to say metal hit sound. There we go. Then we can just copy this one. And then what we're going to do is wood, glass, and plastic. There we go. So now when we hit it and it's taken damage, it plays one of these sounds depending on which one's true. And now underneath here I'm going to say if object current health is less than or equal to 0, and I'm just going to leave this blank for now, because under here I'm going to do void die. Now in here I'm just going to say die. Now in here what we're going to do is we want the object to die. Either we want it to be destroyed or lost my train of thought there. Yeah. So in here what we're going to do is we're going to say what happens if its health is 0. See, everything's going to have a health. Otherwise it will be destroyed straight away. If you say that the health in here is 0, and the max health is, well, you can leave it as 100 if you want, and you have armour as 0, well actually that doesn't matter now. So health, if you have that as 0 and you start the game, it'll automatically die. So what we need to do now is set up what's going to happen when it dies. Say if you have, so I'm going to say if can be destroyed equals true. Then I'm going to say destroy game object. So basically what this would do is if this object can be destroyed, when the health reaches 0 it disappears. You can either do an explosion when it's destroyed, like replace this with explosion and then destroy the game object. It's entirely up to you. But for the purpose of this, because it's quite a simple tutorial and that's quite advanced to get into that sort of stuff, which I'll be covering in my next FPS tutorial series I'm working on at the moment. When you destroy this, it'll just disappear, completely just disappear. You can have animations and everything to play the animation when you've hit it, and then have it destroy the script it's attached to. It's entirely up to you. Now we're going to have an else in here. Now what this is if it can't be destroyed, but it's half zero, say if you're shooting a button, you want it to be able to do something, say in here. What I'm going to do is actually, game object. If I say public game object, and I'm going to say I'm going to say object to activate. Say when you activate the object, I'm going to have something in this object, say object to activate dot get component, and I'm going to say, because if we shoot a button and we want the button to do something, I want it to destroy it, so what I'm going to say is mesh collider, mesh renderer. Well, for now, actually, I'm going to leave that blank, because this is what you're going to edit later on. So if you want this to have, if it's a button, if you want to have the button do it, then we can do it from the button. So that's if you like shoot the button will open it. But at the moment, we're just going to destroy the game object. We might come back to that later on when we've got the shooting done. You can also call animations and that sort of stuff as well from that. Now what we need to do also is going back into the GUI. Here we go. We actually need to start doing the window now. So in the window we need to do enemy window rect equals a GUI.window, enemy alpha D underscore enemy window rect show enemy health, enemy name, and then what we're going to have is the background. I can't remember what I called the background as well. Is this a typing error I've just put in here? I think it might be. Oh, I know what I've done wrong. I've not actually created that yet. Whoops. Display health. So if I come down to the bottom here, in public void int, and then I copy this, put it in there. There we go. That's what I did wrong. Need to create that function. And what did I call those backgrounds that I've been using for the hood? I swear it's called box background. Yeah, it's window background. Okay. Window background. I might need to change that depending on how it actually displays. I'm hoping it displays alright, but you never know. Whoops. And I also need to put this in the if statement. If underscore show enemy health equals true. There we go. So only display that if the enemy health is true. Now down here, I'm going to do a couple of things actually. Underneath the update, I'm going to do a public void on mouse over. This is basically because your mouse is locked to the center of the screen in the first person character controller. When your mouse cursor is over the enemy cube, which you don't see because it's also coded in that you can't see the mouse cursor in game. When you hover over an object, it displays the health. It's locked to the center and is hidden, so we can use this. It's perfect. And say show enemy health equals so not equals true. There we go. And then what we want to do is here underneath we want to have public void on mouse exit. And we're just going to show enemy health equals false. So when you put your mouse over the enemy, it shows the enemy's health. If you pull your mouse away, it doesn't show the enemy's health. This, because this is attached to every object, it will only display the current object you're aiming at's health and armour. It won't show them all in one go in a massive overlay grid thing. So back down here, I'm going to say GUI.box. It's a new rect. Do you know, I think it's Mondays, you know. I want it 10 from the left, 30 from the top. Enemy health, actually armor balance. I wonder if the armor, if I might have to switch the order of this. I'm gonna say it's 20 high. It's gonna say nothing, and it's gonna be health bar. I need to put that in. Not health bar, armor bar. Alright then. If I copy this, I'm going to copy this now. There we go. I did a spelling mistake here. I did a mistake here. It's meant to have a bracket after this and the commas, not a double comma at the end. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to say this is health bar, and I'm going to say health bar length. So they're exactly on top of each other. Now with that done, if I go into my Unity, if I go my GUI, skins, not texture skins, game skin. Let's say this is 10. Let's say health bar, normal, hover, active. I'm going to use buttons for this. Armor is going to be blue, and I'm going to have health as red. So health, oops, health is red. And the border is 4, that's good, that's fine. Armour bar. And we're going to have this blue. And that should be fine. Now if I go into my cube here, its name, I'm going to call it cube. Its armour I want is 50. That way I can actually see if the bars are overlapping perfectly the way I want them to. It's not going to activate an object. It's not going to. I've not got any sounds for this yet, so I'm just going to click play. And if this works, ooh, enable define skin health bar. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, that's why. Cube. Where's my game skin? It'd help if I put that on there. Click play. There we go. We've got it. Now that text is way too big, and I need to edit that. So if where's my game skin? Game skin there. Where's the window background? If I'm going to duplicate that, I'm going to say enemy. Just say enemy. Copy that name, and in the text I'll have that as 20, and that I'll have as a nice red. Nah, actually I'm gonna have as white. There we go. There we go. Now if I go back into my script, and then I go to health bar, there we go, and click there. And if I click play, I'm going to see the health bar at the moment. So if I go in here, why do you keep auto hide? There we go. And if I go back down here and I switch these around, there you go, you can see the armour there, and you can see the health, which is amazing. So you notice how it's actually the mouse cursor that's doing it, but if I click on the screen, it's centered anyway. So now we have our health and armour bar set up. We have our cube. We have a way we can't actually click on it and do anything yet, but we will be destroying it soon. And just as and what we're doing also in the next tutorial is I'll find some sounds from freesound.org, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a glass, a wood, plastic and metal sounds, so we can test to make sure that each one is actually making a different sound every time you shoot it. So that's that done at the moment. I'm Junkie, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.